Good morning students, I welcome you all for the online class of economics. Today we will be learning the last topic of our chapter, that is demand and supply for money, a detailed discussion. Money is the most liquid of all the assets in the sense that it is universally acceptable and hence can be exchanged for others commodities very easily. On the other hand, it has an opportunity cost. If instead of holding on to a certain cash balance, you put the money in a fixed deposit in some bank, you can earn interest on that money. While deciding on how much money to hold at a certain point of time, one has to consider a trade-off between the advantage of liquidity and the disadvantage of the foregone interest. So the thing is that here we are learning what is the opportunity we can gain. If for example one person is having the lakhs of money at home, that money is of no use to that person now. Instead of keeping that money at home, if the person will make the fixed deposit of that money, definitely for a certain period of time till what he had did, the fixed deposit he will be getting rate of interest. But if the same money is utilized is not used but simply kept at home, it will be not any increase or decrease in the value of money. So the thing is that we must know the best way we can use the money. That is the opportunity which is coming on our way, how best we are utilizing it. So that only the point is given. So we can make the trade of this money. If we, instead of keeping the money at our home, if we will deposit that money at a bank, in fixed deposit or recurring deposit, definitely we will be getting some rate of interest with that money. So it will increase the money value. So that only has been explained. Demand for money balance is thus often referred to as liquidity preference. People desire to hold money balance broadly from two motives. The very first motive, the transaction motive. The principal motive for holding money is to carry out transactions. If you receive your income weekly and pay your bills on the first day of every week, you did not hold any cash balance throughout the rest of the week, definitely. You may as well ask your employer to deduct your expenses directly from your weekly salary and deposit the balance in your bank account. But our expenditure pattern do not normally match our receipts. People earn incomes at discrete points in time and spend it continuously throughout the intervals. So the thing is that our life is not having any fixed type of incoming and expenses. At a regular interval of time, we are earning from various sources the income, and we are also expending the same way that money at different intervals of time. Suppose you earn ₹100 on the first day of every month and run down this balance evenly over the rest of the month. Thus, your cash balance at the beginning and at the end of the month are ₹100 and 0. Respectively, your average cash holding can then be calculated as 100 plus 0 divided by 2. So it comes 50, with which you are making transaction worth ₹100 per month. Hence, your average transaction demand for money is equal to half your monthly income, or in other words, half the value of your monthly transactions. Consider next a two-person economy consisting of two entities, a firm and a worker. The firm pays the worker a salary of ₹100 at the beginning of every month. The worker in turn spends this income over the month on the output produced by the firm, the only good available in this economy. Thus, at the beginning of each month, the worker has a money balance of ₹100 and the firm a balance of ₹0. On the last day of the month, the picture is reversed. The firm has gathered a balance of ₹100 through its sales to the worker. The average money holding of the firm as well as the worker is equals to ₹50. Definitely 100 plus 0 divided by 2, again it will become 50. Thus, the total transaction demand for money in this economy is equal to ₹100. The total volume of monthly transaction in this economy is ₹200 minus the firm has sold its output worth ₹100 to the worker, and the latter has sold her services worth ₹100 to the firm. The transaction demand for money of the economy is again a fraction of the total income volume of transactions in the economy over the unit period of time. So in general, therefore, the transaction demand for money in the economy can be considered as money, demand and the time can be written in the following form: M due T equals to K into T. over T is the total value of nominal transaction in the economy, that was 100. Over unit period, and K is a positive transaction. The 2% economy described above can be looked at from another angle. You may perhaps find it surprising that the economy uses money balance worth rupees 100 for making transaction worth rupees 200 per month. It means the money which was earned by the simple person 100 rupees, again it will be used by the firm to earn the income of 200 per month. The answer to this riddle is simple. Each rupee is changing hands twice a month. On the first day, it is being transferred from the employer's pocket to that of the worker and sometime during the month. It is passing from the worker's hand to the employer's. Again, it will be passed at the expenses of the worker will be cut down by the employer. The number of times a unit of money changes hand during the unit period is called velocity of circulation of money. Children, you have to note down this. What is velocity of circulation of money? The number of times a unit of value means like 50 rupees, it changes value into twice, that is 100 rupees. 100 rupees, it changes form into 200 rupees when it went from one hand to another person's hand. This changes, this number of times a unit of money changes hand during the unit period is called the velocity of circulation of money. In the above example, it is 2. Inverse of half minus ratio of money balance and the value of transactions. Thus, in general, we may rewrite equation 3.1 in the following form. 1 upon K into MDT equals to T or UM. So, here it is the formula which is given. That is 1 upon K, where V equals to 1 upon K is the velocity of circulation, number of times a money value changes. Note that the term on the right hand side of the above equation, T is a flow variable. What it is? It is a flow variable, whereas money demand MDT is a stock concept, means it is fixed. It is fixed for a specified period of time and we can calculate it. Stock concept, it refers to the stock of money people are willing to hold at a particular point of time. Again, the concept is explained, though it was explained in the first chapter. The velocity of money, V, however, has a time dimension. It refers to the number of times every unit of stock exchange hand during a unit period of time, say a month or a year. Thus, the left hand side VMDT measures the total value of monetary transaction that has been made with this stock in the unit period of time. This is a flow variable and is therefore equal to the right hand side. So, that was the first concept of money value, that was the transaction motive. The second motive I will be explaining in the second video.